Hi there, I want to welcome you to this seminar about nutrition labels. My name is Nanda Shingari. I'm part of the Wellness Moonshot Revolution, and we're getting the world healthy, not only healthy, but optimally healthy. And our mission is to create a world free of preventable diseases. And our vision is to really impact about 1 million people in the next 5 years, empower them, educate them, and give them commonsensical ways to take charge of their health. Everybody wants to live a long life, but we want you to focus on healthy life, healthy and long life. We want to empower you and educate you, live a vibrant life. And the way you do that is by taking charge of your health early on in your life so that you make good choices for your better health. Health is a moving target. Every day, either you're moving towards being healthy or being unhealthy. And it depends on the choices you make on a single day. We call it the illness and wellness continuum. And we hope you're moving towards wellness. And today, hopefully, we're going to give you a little bit more information that's going to help you move towards wellness. And to think optimal health, you have to go deep down to your cellular level. You want to think cellular health. And for that, you need good quality macronutrients in the right proportions and to the right limits. You need phytonutrients that comes from fruits and vegetables. You want micronutrients, which is vitamins and minerals. You want good, clean water, and you got good, clean air. And you need to keep all the active energy systems and the various systems that help you remove waste and toxins. And two important organs in your body that cleans your toxins and removes waste is your kidneys and your liver. So I want you to hold that thought in your mind as we go along this presentation. Why not give your body what it needs and deep down feed it the nutrients it needs so that it can take care of you? Why not breathe the cleanest air? Why not drink the cleanest water? Why not invest in our health? A lot of us maybe think, differently when it comes to health, but it changed for me a few years ago when I lost my father because of a heart attack. And then it took me on a journey to discover what are the various things that affect our health. I noticed that a lot of people probably take more time to, buy a television or a car or a home and neglect health. Health and time are two incredible assets that we only appreciate when we deplete it, when it gets depleted. So today we want to empower you so that you can make better choices. And our body needs essential nutrients. And some of it can make on its own, but a lot of it we have to give through food that we eat. And of course, we got to drink the right amount of water, good clean water, and breathe the right kind of air to keep our body functioning. And we also need minerals for blood sugar control. A lot of people are facing problems with diabetes and all the problems that come along with, improper blood sugar levels in your body. 90% of adults don't get all the nutrients that they need. Most of them are deficient in vitamin D, vitamin E, magnesium, calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin C. So when they go eat food or purchase food to cook at home or they go out to eat, and I don't think they're making decisions based on what they lack, but I think most people are making decisions based on what they like to eat on a daily basis, how convenient it is or how inexpensive it is. But our body needs a balanced diet. Now, a balanced diet is different for different people based on your age, your activity level, your gender, and all of that. But we need good amount of good fat and less amount of bad fat, less carbohydrates, more protein, good amount of fiber, water, antioxidant, vitamins, and minerals. But a lot of people eat a lot more carbohydrates and get a lot of bad fat. You got to know your daily calorie limit and macro limits. But there are two energy sources that we need, carbohydrates and fats. Although proteins are building blocks, although it's considered as a macronutrient, we don't need it as a fuel. According to FDA, which is the regulatory body in America, 2,000 calories for women, about 2,500 calories for men. But I can tell you this much, that if I eat beyond 1,800 calories, I gain weight. So you got to find your calorie limit and what proportion of carbohydrates and proteins and fats you need to eat. In India, ICMR says 2,400, kilocalories and calories is the same. Don't ask me why. And when they say kcal or cal, it's the same thing for rural areas and 2,100 for urban areas. Again, I think it's probably a lot more than what people need. Carbohydrates, about 50 to 150 grams a day, 60 to 150 protein. For most people, 30 to 100 grams per day of fat. But you got to know your limits. In WMR, we have a daily dozen. Things that you need to focus on: healthy fats, complete protein. Complete protein is where you get 9 essential amino acids, 23 essential amino acids, and cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, the right kind of fruits, and herbs and spices, beverages, clean water, beans and lentils, whole grains, and move throughout the day, and exercises. But we all know that no matter how hard you work on getting all the nutrients that you need, there will be a gap. Now, you might be thinking that I'm eating the right amount of food. Why is there a gap? Well, let's go dig deeper. Well, the health problems are caused by stress, the daily stressors in our life, the pollutants, the toxicants, and pathogens. Today, for the discussion that we are having, we're going to focus on toxicants. And the health problems caused by toxins that we ingest or inhale or we inject in our body can cause these big problems. And these remain as chronic problems. And most people in the world face chronic problems today, chronic health issues, because of a lot of toxins. There are 80,000 new industrial chemicals in the last 100 years or 200 years, 80,000 new industrial chemicals. So when a food is harvested, and by the time it ends up on a plate to be eaten, there's a lot of things that happens to it in its journey to our food plate. There's a lot of manipulation, insecticides, pesticides, fertilizers, transportation, cold storage, processing, packaging, displayed at a grocery shelf. So you don't know what's happening. So there is nutrient loss and also toxicant gain by the time something is manufactured, by the time we eat it. So we have a lot of things that we need to think about the food that we are eating. So there are top 10 worst processed foods and food ingredients. Trans fats, high fructose corn syrup, sugars. Sugars have 72 different names today. I thought sugar was sugar, but there's 72 different ones. MSG, artificial coloring, sweeteners, emulsifiers, bleaches, and there's a lot of unproven, unpronounceable, ingredients. And vegetable oils. I don't want to forget anything that says refined, enriched, enhanced, I run away from. I really keep an eye on them. Now, there are a lot of modern diet poisons, and the biggest one is high fructose corn syrup. Okay, and you find that in a lot of things that we eat on a daily basis. Okay, including tomato ketchup. It's called sauce in India, right? And there's a lot of, so just thinking about the food that we're eating, we also have to think about the containers it come in. Cans, boxes, right, packages, all of them, have different chemicals that have been discovered that really cause harm to us. There are 12 banned chemicals still used in America that have been banned, in different parts of the world. There are too many to name here, but there's something that you can go back and look at. Who's on your side? Are you on your side? Do you think there are a lot of people in the food industry, the pharma industry, the medical industry, do you think they're on your side or on the business side? They're there to make a profit. They will come up with messaging, marketing to get you to buy their products. In fact, they say that, the food industry get people sick, so the sick care industry, which is the healthcare industry, is waiting for them, to get treated. So who is on your side? How about doctors? Now, doctors are not bad people. They're good people. They're great people. We're so grateful and thankful. But I was shocked to discover that they only get 24 or 25 hours of training on nutrition. Yes, there may be some doctors who educate themselves about it, but if you rely on a doctor to tell you about nutrition or give you nutritional advice, you may be wrong. You might be getting wrong advice. I believe that grocery stores is a danger zone. There are hundreds and thousands of products out there that are not food, but food-like substances. They've been heavily processed, packaged in, good-looking, colorful packages to attract our attention and have us buy it. But are they really good for you? Well, let's see. We've come up with some simple rules and principles for you to help you make good choices. Principle number 1, you got to know your calories and macro limits. The food that you ingest, eat every single day, you got to know your calorie limit and macro limit. Second thing is choose organic, real food. Avoid processed food as much as you can. They say that 70% of food that people eat today is processed. And so if you can do those two things, you're off to a great start. So what are the 6 WMR rules for reading nutrition labels? First thing is, does it really have one? A lot of packaging may not even have one. Then you cannot trust the contents of the package. Does it have an expiry date? Does it have certifications and logos? And FSSAI is the Food Safety Standards Authority of India. Then FDA is the US Food and Drug Administration that really control this. What is the serving size? Just because you look at a packet, a can or a box, a bottle, doesn't mean that one serving is all the contents in that. So you got to know your serving size. How many calories are there per serving? Does it really pass the real food test? Ingredients are real food without additives, chemicals, artificial colors, and etc. If you can't read the label in plain English, it's not real food. Does it meet the real macros test, which means that the contents of real macros, which is the fat, carbs, and protein, is it more than 80%? Otherwise, it's filled with fillers, which is not good for you. Does it pass the low carbohydrate load test? We eat way too much of carbohydrates. Some foods, especially the processed ones, increase our blood sugar level immediately. And we don't want to, eat foods that increase our blood sugars, spike them. And so we have a simple test, carbohydrate load test, glycemic load test, to determine that. So let's understand our nutrition label. Nutrition label, as you look at it here, first of all, don't forget the essential nutrients that our body needs. Because when we look at packaging, when we are hungry, I think we don't make good choices because you're overtaken by, hunger and taste buds and emotions, rather than making good choices for ourselves. So let's look at that. This is on the Pop-Tarts here. This is the old labeling. Labels changed in 2021. And as you can see here, it says servings per container, serving size, calories per serving, not the entire box, right? Okay, fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, which is divided into dietary fiber, total sugars, and also now your, food companies have to include added sugars on the packaging, protein, and as you can see, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium get a special mention on the nutrition label. But then the ingredients part, okay, right? You want to look at the ingredients. As you can see, there are way too many ingredients here, first of all. Second thing is there are a lot of ingredients here that you can't even pronounce. Although there are colorful packaging here that attracts your attention. 0 grams trans fat, good source of calcium, good source of vitamin 4B vitamins. There's cinnamon here, pictures, brown sugar here. They are all great, but are they really good for you? So let's apply some of these tests that we learned and see if it's good for you. Then food labels are very deceptive. There are so many words that are used today to get your attention and have you buy those products. But think about it. Is there real fruit and fruit roll-ups? Think about it. Is there any nutritional value for it? Or are you just getting empty calories? So let's apply our WMR rules and principles to see something is good or bad for you. Well, here I'm looking at bagels. This is the actual label, from the bagel, okay, right? So let's look at it. First one is, well, I'm assuming that you know the 2 principles, right? The first principle is what? You got to know your calorie limit. You got to know your macro limit, which means that how many carbohydrates you need to eat per day, how much of protein, how much of fats, right? Second thing is you got to eat real food, organic food, not processed food. So applying those 2 principles, maybe the first one you know it, but the second one already failed because this is not, and this is processed. This is not processed. So let's look at the rules. Does the food have a nutrition label? Yes. Does it have an expiry date? Yes. Certification logos? Yes. What is the serving size? It's 1 bagel. How many calories per serving? 290 calories per serving. I want you to know that. It's not for all the 12 bagels. It's for 1 bagel. So does it pass the real food test? That means that ingredients are real food without additives, chemicals, artificial flavor, colors, flavors, emulsifiers, etc. Well, let's look at it. Okay, do you see the ingredients here? Right? Do they look like they're real? A lot of preservatives here, so it does not pass the real food test. Does it meet the real macros test? Let's add things up. How about fat, total carbohydrates and protein? Fat is 3.5 grams here, like you see here, okay? And there's 53 grams of carbs, 53 grams of carbs. For many people, if they eat more than 75 to 100 grams per day, they gain weight. So imagine you eat 1 bagel, you're already more than half the requirement, a daily requirement, for carbohydrates. Anyway, so 9 grams of protein. So if you add all of that, that's 65.5 grams of macros that we have out of 95 grams per bagel, okay, per serving. So 65.5 out of 95 grams is 68%. So it does not really meet the 80% threshold. If we see these 3 numbers add up to more than 80%, then you got real macros, no fillers. Yes, there may be some moisture in there, right, to account for it, but I would still think that it's safe to say that does not have the right macro density. How about low carbohydrate load test? Does it have low glycemic load? Let's calculate that. Fat, fiber, protein, if you add that up, that's total is 14.5 grams per serving, which is for 1 bagel, out of 95 grams that we're eating. That's 15%. It does not meet the 50% threshold. This has to be more than 50% for the food that you're ingesting to have a low glycemic load, which means it does not spike blood sugar. So does it meet that? No. So if you look at all of this, if you apply WMR principles, is it good or bad for you? Okay, it's bad for you. It's not something that you want to eat. Okay, and I've seen people eat a half a bagel or a quarter bagel, but why not switch to an alternative, a good, source of, right macros and with a low glycemic load on your body? Well, let's look at the next one. Digestive wheat biscuits. Okay, right? It's very popular in India, especially, especially people, senior citizens, people who have digestive issues. They think that, these are good for them. But as you can see, let's only focus on the 3 tests that we applied. Does it really meet the real food test? No. Look at all the ingredients that are here. You see these numbers here, INS 223, INS 296, INS 503. I don't know what they are. And then it has vegetable oil, right? And the other thing that you want to look at is the low glycemic load test, okay? How about the real macros? Yes, as if you add fat, total carb, and protein, it's 27 grams out of 29 grams, which is 93%. So yes, it passes the real macros test, okay? That it does contain not many fillers. But how about the glycemic load test? It is only 31%. It does not pass the 50% test. So which means that it's going to spike your blood sugar. So if somebody has diabetes or pre-diabetes and they're watching over the sugar intake and carbohydrate intake, this fails the test. So is this good or bad for you? Well, it's bad for you, okay? I want you to look at alternate sources of, getting the same digestion that you're looking for. We have a lot of supplements for that. How about ketchup? It does not meet the test. Okay, well, one more thing that I want you to notice, whenever you look at liquids or food products in liquid form, the real macros test really fails because it has water content in it. Okay, so it is not applicable here, but still it fails the other 2. I'm looking for all green signs. How about natural almond butter? Okay, if you look at all of them, it passes all the tests here. Okay, 1 ingredient, organic raw almonds. Think about that. Okay, right? So it does meet the 80% test here for the real macros and over 50% test, for the low glycemic load, carbohydrate load. Okay, so this is good for you. Again, just because it's good for you does not mean you can eat as much as you want. You still remember the 2 principles, right? You got to know your macros. You got to know your calorie limit. You got to see how much you're ingesting. 2 tablespoons has 180 calories. So you got to know that before you, consume the product. So it's a good product. How about fruit juices? Instead of actually eating the fruit, well, we know that that's not good if you apply all the tests. And we encourage you to eat organic food because organic apple, organic spinach, organic tomatoes, as you can see, it has a lot more nutrient value than ordinary ones. In America, there are codes on sticker that you can see to differentiate if they are certified organic. Product starts with a 9 on the stock code, and conventionally grown start with a 4, and GMO products start with an 8. So it's a tip for you. Yes, packaging, has the nutrition labels, but when you go buy vegetables, fruits, they come in packages, they may not have, they don't have the nutrition label. So you have to look at the stock code, and stock codes reveal whether it's organic or not. Well, do you think the food industry, the restaurants, and the on-demand food delivery companies, do they really care about your health? How they manufacture, how they prepare the food, the ingredients that they use? Are they thinking about profits? How about the packages that they use, they store and deliver to you? How about what happens to the product by the time it leaves the kitchen to deliver to your home? Think about all those things. Avoid eating out, especially eating food that you don't know how it was prepared. Small lifestyle changes lead to significant improvement in health. Eat real, local, seasonal food, avoid minimized food. Carefully read labels before you purchase food by applying the WMR's principles. Take your supplements. It's so important to take your supplements because you need to neutralize the harmful effects of toxins for longevity and optimal health. If you're not taking WMR's optimal health assessment, meet with the person who shared this video with you. Get the free 30-minute consultation with them. You need to get on a supplementation program. You cannot say that I'm eating healthy. As you can see, it's very hard to eat healthy and eat a balanced diet in today's world, okay? So you definitely need supplementation. What kind of supplements, what dosage of supplements, right? It all depends on, it varies from person to person. So what you need to take is definitely something you need to meet with the person who invited you here, who can share with you the company, the products that we are associated with, and how we use, evidence-based approach to select the right supplements for you. We want you to inspire and influence others to live a healthy, fulfilling, and vibrant life. We need to get out there, help at least 1 million people in the next 5 years to live a vibrant life. And with that, the way it happens is that you get educated, you use commonsensical principles so that you live a healthy life. Your example will inspire other people around you to do that. Okay. I hope you can give us 90 days to share with you the information that is going to help you live an optimal life, optimal, healthy life, so that you can also make an impact and join us in this revolution to do that. And to end this presentation, I want to let you know that give yourself and your family the best gift of vibrant health. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please share this video with your friends and family, and come join us in the revolution to get the world healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.